Hello everybody, my name is Luke Kavener, and today I'm going to be showing you some Lego Mechs. But Luke, what's a Lego Mech? Good question, I'll answer that in a sec. But first, before we get into the video, make sure you're subscribed so that you can see the next video that comes out. It's free, and you can always unsubscribe. So, let's take a look at these Lego Mechs. On this side we have some more exosuit type mechs, and on this side we have these two, which are a lot bulkier and bigger. So, a mech, I think it's supposed to stand for like machine. Well, mech is basically a really big robot where a person is piloting it, and usually in mechs they move their arms or legs, then the mech does the same. In most media, they're like seen as big, strong fighting things. These I kind of made, and this one I didn't make. So let's get into actually looking at these mechs, and we can talk about how these mechs were all made, how I designed all these, and I will give you an exclusive look at how to build your own mech. So let's do that now. So first let's look at this mech that I've built. So I designed this mech, and it's made of mostly Technic beams and also pins and stuff, but it's using a lot of Technic pieces, and usually I'm not a huge fan of Technic. I like using normal system pieces. But for this one, I had these pieces that I used for the shoulder. And I liked those a lot. And I wanted to use them for the shoulder and maybe the hip, and I ended up doing that. That's what made me want to build this mech. This is probably the simplest one out of all the ones that we're going to be looking at. It uses probably the least pieces and the biggest pieces. This entire arm is just one piece plus this piece on top of it. In the cockpit, we have this guy. This set was made using some pieces from a Star Wars set, and this guy is controlling the mech using backwards guns. Now, once you take him out, you can see how in here we have some brownish pieces, which are supposed to imitate kind of like leather, so that there's like padding. But it's kind of ironic because there's these big harsh gray shapes all around the whole thing. And these arms can move, but they are very limited because I made them that way, because they're attached by one pin right there, and then that's it. I imagine this mech being more of a construction type thing, and the legs are also articulatable, and they're in this kind of chicken shape. They go back a bit and then forward, and that's similar to the ATEST, and that's kind of what these legs were inspired by. That's like a style of leg that I've seen in mechs. Right here you have these harness things that are used to keep the minifigure in once he's actually in there, and those just clamp around him. Those are attached by some gun pieces because those were in the set that I used these pieces from. All these pieces were all from one set. I think it was from episode 8. It was from that one scene where they're on that, like, salt planet. Anyway. Over on the back, oh yeah, and then here you can see the shoulder detailing more. So I've used these pieces with the lines to give it more texture. Maybe this could be like a exit for the engine. Although on all of these there isn't really an engine type of thing, because they're supposed to be more futuristic. Over on the back, there's some anti-studs, which aren't the prettiest things, but that's how you get the shaping on the front, on the inside. From the side, you can see how I used a slanted 2x4. So these pieces, and that's what inspired me, I said that, but these pieces right here I used for the shoulder and the hip area, and that's how I attached the legs and the arms, because I thought those pieces had good shaping to them. They were interesting. That's one way that you can build a lot of Lego things. That's like one way that a lot of people build Lego, is they will find a piece, like an odd looking or interesting looking piece, and then they'll take that piece and shove it into some weird way so that it looks interesting. Now let's put this minifigure back in, and then I can show you the next mech. So this next mech, this was originally created from a Hero Factory set. It was this skeleton with all these pieces on the outside that are like kind of like armor plating. Now this is supposed to be fire themed, and this was one of the mechs I've made for my Element Titans theme that I've made up. Well, this is the fire element. So you got this big hand. Yeah, it was taken off of a Chima set, which was from a while ago. I have put some like lightning pieces, except they're recolored to look like fire, so that's like a double-edged sword right there. The way that you put the minifigure in this mech is he has this armor on the back of him, and you can attach that to these pieces right there. And I was going to put some pieces down inside of there so that he could stand on them, but I couldn't find the right piece to make that work, so I ended up going with this. So that does that, and then you just close this up. That's how this mech works. And you can also attach like a gun or something. I think I originally had a gun mounted on this ball joint, but it looked a little odd. I think, yeah, that's what this was from. So on this side, there's a little gun. These things are supposed to be like kind of like shoulder pads. In the Nexonites armor, all of their armor have these big orange things right here. So I was trying to mimic that. These pieces are from another Chima thing, the ice versus fire speeders. And then you got this chain on this arm, which is coming out right here and then wrapping around, surging with fire power. On the back here, there's a jetpack that was in the original set. This is also really simple, but it was really hard to finagle. It was really hard to make into an actual mech with a person inside it. And the solution, it was super simple, was just to have that armor. It was pretty difficult to actually get that to work. On to the next mech. So this is the exosuit from Lego Ideas, and it is pretty cool. It has all this crazy detailing all around to make it look like there's like pistons and hydraulics, all these mechanical things, which I definitely have a ton of experience in, not just saying random words. But yeah, it like has all these cool details that make it super unique. This is 100% a set, besides maybe a piece or two that I've taken off or put on. There's a piece that's messed up right there. Okay, now I put that piece back. And I mean, that kind of shows how this set has a lot of pieces that are super easy to fall off. It's definitely not supposed to be for play, it's supposed to be for display. Here's a minifigure that you can put on the inside, and not a whole lot of stuff keeping him in or keeping him from being shot. Oh, and then all of these arms, these hands, and all the fingers can articulate, and it also has these nice legs. They are obviously shaped oddly, and they're really squat, and there's also some trash can pieces right here for the arms. But yeah, that's this set. So this is just an example of another exosuit mech, but this was an actual set. Now we're getting to some bigger mechs. This was originally from Ninjago, originally Zane's mech, and I just added more ice-themed stuff onto it because I thought it looked cool. That's missing a piece. Hold on. There we go. So, as you can see, up here there's a big cannon. But yeah, I've added all these ice bits onto it. So, the basic like structure of this mech has been kept the same. I think I switched some of the pieces out to make it more silvery and white, and I've added this sword to make it more of my own. But then I won't like something, and I'll rip it off and shove something else on there. And that's the beauty of Lego, is that you can always change out stuff. And again, on this you can put another minifigure in there. This one you can actually have them sitting, and then this thing isn't too high. This hand, this was made with a bunch of big fancy translucent blue pieces. It's in this pose, so he's like generic superhero landing pose. He's like, ooh, boom, oh, wow, I'm so nifty. On the back, there's this ammo thing, and also this tube of power that is all powering this big cannon. And also, there's these giant screws that are holding the legs of the mech all together. This has a articulated waist too, and that can make some really dynamic poses. And they can also both turn at the hand, and they have articulated fingers. And I think the coolest use of mechs is using giant weapons and things that you can't really fit onto a normal minifigure. So just make a mech, and then shove the minifigure in the mech, and then now you get a big awesome cannon. So that's what this mech is. Alright, so this is the most recent mech that I've created. So this mech is not the best mech that I've ever built or seen, but it's really simple, and it kind of just shows the basic like mech skeleton. This is another one that I've completely made on my own, and this is made using a process that I'm going to show you in a sec, but the general gist of it is there's a skeleton made out of gray pieces and then armor out of yellow pieces. Here, I'll show you what it looks like without the yellow pieces. Guess who just showed up? What up, boys? Alright, back to the Lego. So, I've taken off the yellow armor on this arm, and now you can see how spindly and kind of like a skeleton this arm is. I mean, I kind of thought of like how I would put the pieces in different places, but for the most part, it was just me making the skeleton and then getting yellow pieces and putting it on top.
You know what that's from?
No.
What do you mean uncultured? I'm making a video on Legos!
Yeah! Do we keep this in the video?
Yeah, definitely. So, as you can see, I put all the armor pieces back onto the mech, and now it looks very nice and funky. No, not spindly anymore.
So, I put the armor back on.
Can we all acknowledge that's exactly what I said?
On this mech, I was going crazy with the weapons, as you can see here. Now, this is supposed to be a gun. It looks... yeah, it looks more like a surgical array of tools. On this side, there is a minigun, and I've also put this shoulder thing, which is articulated. The minifigure is kept in here, and there's a lot of things keeping him from being shot. There's this thing that opens up. This has a little fire piece on top. It's supposed to kind of be like an exhaust, or maybe, what are those,
Like a plume.
a plume. Yeah, that's kind of what it's supposed to be. And it's yellow, and guess where I got that from? That's right, the treehouse that sucked, which happened to have a miscolored piece. You should go watch that video, by the way. See that? See the card? Yeah, click on it. Alright. On the back, I used some anti-studs, but I also used some smoother plating, because generally, I think anti-studs look pretty garbanzo beans. On the front, there's some controls that this dude is holding. This whole thing flips up, and you can take the dude out. And he's also attached, like the other mech, to the back with the armor. But he's also attached to the ground, so it's like double secure. Anyways, oh yeah, and then the legs bend backwards and then forwards again. Now we're gonna show you how to actually build one of these, or something like this.
Well, let's get to it!
Okay, so now that we've talked about all the mechs, now we're gonna take a look at this thing. Now we're gonna actually explain how you can build one of these. So this thing, we've talked about that, it's just a skeleton with the armor plating on top. So the way I built this, you have to get a bunch of pieces and a bunch more pieces. But look, what kind of pieces? Shut up, loser.
That was aggressive.
You want to get a bunch of skeletal pieces? I use gray, light and dark gray. And these are all connector type pieces. Both snot pieces, studs not on top, so you can connect them on the sides. And joint pieces, both ball joints and just clips and bars. But you just want all these hinges. You want to get a ton of those. The most common color for these types of pieces is light and dark gray, so that's what I've used. But you could use whatever color if you have these types of pieces in another color. But you want to get a bunch of those. Do that? Okay, now that you've done that, now that you've paused the video and gotten all those pieces, now you want to get a bunch of armor plating pieces. These are all, for the most part, smoother pieces that can be used. And what you want to do is you want to make the skeleton and then find the right pieces and put those on the top of the skeleton. You want to make the skeleton super thin and spindly so that when you put the armor on, it doesn't look too bulky. So I'm going to do a super basic little thing to show you the process of it. The key is to be able to get a ton of pieces in one color or one type, unless you have them sorted already. In that case, you're a nerd. Then you don't have to go around looking for pieces. Then you can just be brainstorming, building the entire time that you're actually designing the thing. So that's important. Now I'm going to try to build something. Let's do it. Okay, so I've come up with a basic concept for the core of the mech. So you want to get a way to connect to the minifigure, and then you want to build around the minifigure, and then you don't have to worry about, oh, is it gonna fit in the area? But that's like a big key part of it, is that you just want to start from the minifigure, find a good way to attach it.
Thank you, Kanye. Very cool. If you're not already subscribed, hit the thumbs up button.
That's the like button, not the subscribe.
I won't subscribe you though, as my person who's not the cameraman is saying. So also hit the subscribe button. Like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen.
So I'm working on this mech more. I've hit a speed bump because I have this whole cool shoulder thing going, but then the legs are just boop, boop. They're super tiny. That's a problem. So what I might have to do is get a totally different piece, or two of them, so that I can actually have a ball joint. I had to do that with this thing also, so that I was able to angle the legs properly. Because when you have them going straight up and down, it doesn't look very good. And that's a thing that you want to try to do, is you want to mix ball joints with regular joints. Because like in your arm, you have your elbow, which is kind of like a clip-in bar in Lego. But then you also have your shoulder, which is a ball joint. I wanted to say, so it's supposed to be kind of like a gorilla. The legs are going to be super short, then the arms are super bulky. He's going to be leaning forward. I think it'll look pretty interesting. Like, you can have different mechs that are all different shapes and sizes, but you can have mechs that are also like giant robots and have not human proportions at all. And that's another reason they're interesting. Ta-da! We finished! Well, I mean, not all of these. I just did that. Anyway, so I finished this mech. It's really small compared to this thing and compared to other mechs. But that just goes to show you how easy it is to make a small little mech. But it kind of looks like somebody's like wading through some water. It's like, whoa. I think the hardest part is probably the hands, and it only really works for bigger dudes. Anyway, so that's the mechs. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, press that like button with your knee. Yes. You see your knee? You have to get the like on your iPad or on your Android if you're dumb, and you go whoop like that with the like button. That's what you gotta do, and subscribe for more epic Lego content. If you happen to be actually making a Lego mech, hit me up, send me a picture of it, and I'll tell you what I think of it. If it doesn't suck, it probably won't suck.
Thanks for watching, gamers. We'll
Yep.
see you next time.
Except wait,
Luke's
no,
exciting Lego creations and more.
Yeah. Except also comment on which mech you like the most, because I'm interested. Did you like the ones like I designed, or did you like the ones that I did not design, or did you not really care at all and you just accidentally clicked on this video?
Option C, please.
Thanks for watching. This has been Luke Havener, and I'm out. Edit.